Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we will be reviewing Supergirl Season 2, Episode 11, The Martian Chronicles. So, we open up with this week's episode, and we get the scene of Morgan, I believe her name's pronounced, or Miss Martian, and she's at work in the kind of alien hangout bar/bar thing they have going, and it's a scene where she's taking out the garbage, and she can kind of sense with her psychic abilities as someone who's been following her all week long. And I'm immediately thinking back to last week's episode, and I'm going, hey, it's probably the White Martians, you know. And so she tells him to come out. You see this weird looking old man who steps out from behind a dumpster or some garbage, and it shifts into John, um, the Martian Manhunter, and so he's basically letting her know what I was thinking, and from where the show left off with last week, that hey, aren't you worried about the White Martians coming for you after what happened? And so, she's basically, letting John know she doesn't want anybody to get involved, that, she doesn't want to bring danger on anybody, and she wants to take care of the matter herself. And, all of a sudden we get one of the White Martians shows up, and it's a fight that goes on between the White Martian and both John and Miss Martian, and she joins in, and they're able to beat back the White Martian temporarily. But then again, we get Miss Martian, and she's basically, still not wanting to expose John and the rest of the team to danger. But John lets her know that, hey, we want to help you. You're considered a friend of ours, and so she's, still pretty much concerned, about their danger and well-being, and doesn't want to cause them, any problems. And then we cut to basically the next scene, and we get Kara and Monel, and Kara's visiting um, Monel at the bar. He's actually working at the bar where the aliens. He works at the same bar that um, Miss Martian works at. And Kara has a conversation with Monel, after their awkward situation from last week, and she basically lets him know she doesn't like him, you know, and so that doesn't make Monel feel too great. Um, we then move on to Miss Martian again, and she gets an interesting visit um, to the bar, and it appears to be uh, someone she knows from her past, and he's speaking this alien language, and it's not long that we find out he's actually the White Martian that they were fighting. And we also find out something else that's very interesting, and that's he is Miss Martian's husband, who's come to take her back to Mars to stand trial for what she's done to her people to help the Green Martians. And he's letting her know he's going to burn the whole city if necessary down, hurt whoever he needs to, but he will be taking her back to Mars. We cut and we get Kara and Alex, and Alex in her relationship with Maggie seems to be progressing quite well. Um, Maggie's got her tickets to a concert, but Kara doesn't know this, and Kara it's actually it's Kara's anniversary to arriving on Earth, so it's like her like a birthday anniversary type thing, and Um, so she wants, to hang out with Alex, but now she's kind of feeling out of place in that Alex is now, greatly preoccupied these days with Maggie, and so Maggie actually gets her tickets to the Bare Naked Ladies concert, a band I remember. I think I can remember a few songs from them some years back. And I find that kind of interesting. I'm trying to remember, did other superhero shows ever reference real life bands? And I think Smallville did. I think Smallville actually did that. Just something came to mind when they was, that these bands exist in their world, in the universe. Um, but so Kara's, basically letting Alex know, oh, it's okay, go with Maggie, but she's really kind of down. She really wanted to hang out with her sister on her, anniversary of arriving to Earth, like they always used to do. So, it's kind of downer for Kara in that, in that regard. In our next scene, we get Miss Martian or Morgan and McGann, and she's come down to the DEO. She's decided to accept John's offer, to work with them and try to fight together. And but Morgan also informs the team that, hey, the Martians that are here to take me back, one is my husband, and he, I'm basically putting you all in danger, but John lets her know it doesn't matter who he is. Their job is to protect the Earth from aliens that come there meaning harm. And so, interesting enough, we find that due to the ability to shapeshift, after the systems are taken over by someone, they become aware that the white Martians are already there in the facility, and because they can shapeshift, they could be any one of them. And so they come up with this test. There's a lot of mystery surrounding who's the white Martian and who's, because also white Martians, like green Martians, they can read minds. So they can take on all the personality and characteristics of the person as well as know everything they know. So you can't ask questions to try to figure out who's who. They have all the memories and thoughts of the people who's they've through a psychic link assumed their identity. And so John comes up with a test, and it's a test they used to do on Mars in the when they were back on Mars in the camps, and they were fighting against the white Martians, and it involves something like holding your hand to this type of flame, and it makes the shape-shifting skin peel back, and you can see the true, body of or the true hand of the white Martians, and both it works actually for the green Martians as well, because when John does it, you can see his hand is green. But so they're still trying to figure out who's the white Martians, and there were two white Martians there who took over two of the people, but they were unaware. They were unaware of it. So we get this scene. We get the scene where basically we get the scene where basically John is conducting the test, and Wynn doesn't want to go through with the test. Wynn's basically trying to stall. And so, after a while, Wynn starts just kicking everybody's butt. So, we find that it's Wynn, it's the white Martian is posing as Wynn, but it's just kind of funny because, it's funny to see Wynn just kicking everybody's butt and how it looks. And, but also because the Martian took over Wynn's body, that explains as well how he's able to shut down control all the computers throughout the DEO and various things like that. So as they're looking for, the white Martian, Kara and Alex are together, and as they're looking, Supergirl's finally starting to tell the truth to Alex that hey, I really wanted you to be with me on my anniversary, and I just didn't want to tell you that. yeah, I had a problem with you, not, coming around and going with Maggie instead. And so after a while, you know, Alex, starts telling Supergirl how pathetic she is, and she starts kicking her butt. And we find out that Alex is the second white Martian who's hiding there. That they didn't, and Supergirl didn't know it because again, they have all of their memories and personality and things, like that. So, they start fighting, and Supergirl is basically able to stop because there are two, one of the Martians, and then there's a good fight between John and the husband of McGann's, and they're all fighting, and they prevail throughout the they prevail through the fight. However, in the end, we get this scene. I'm trying to get to my slides here. Let me go to another slide. But we get this scene with McGann and John, and John basically reveals, to McGann that, he's really into her and he wants a relationship with her. And she feels the same way, but she now has this new calling where she wants to return to Mars and help other people, other Martians that like her, that want to change from what they are. And so, John, doesn't want to see her go, but he thinks it's dangerous. She's going to get herself killed, but she decides that's something that she really wants to do. And so we have the goodbyes between those two. We also move on to Supergirl and Alex, and Supergirl basically comes clean to Alex because when she came clean the first time, it wasn't Alex, it was the White Martian, but Alex kind of knows that Supergirl, or Kara, she already knew how she felt in a sense, but also because she kind of shared a link with the Martian. So when they link to each other, they both kind of share the thoughts of each other. So she kind of had the thoughts, from the Martian when Supergirl spoke to the Martian. So she knew how Kara really felt, and so she explained. She comes with a cupcake, and they celebrate and get their relationship back together. But then she informs Kara that maybe it really wasn't about her. Maybe it was about her and Mon-El, and that she isn't expressing her true feelings about Mon-El. So Kara goes over to see Mon-El, but it's too late. Mon-El has, moved on with one of the, I believe it's one of the assistants who works at Catco. I think she works for the newspaper. And I think her and Mon-El had a thing before where she liked Mon-El, but this time Mon-El decided to move on as he didn't think Kara was, available. So, Kara and Mon-El, they basically, she's kind of missed that ship right now. She's feeling, pretty bad about it. And, that was pretty much this week's episode. I thought it was a real good episode. I always like the episodes which feature more with the Martian Manhunter, in it. And so I thought that was, well done. But anyway, guys, I hope you as well have enjoyed this week's episode. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next week, take care, guys.